What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, and I am here with my review for Evil Dead Rise. Now, if you have not seen this movie yet, you should know the drill by now. Come on back, because there will be spoilers. Thank you to everybody who has been rocking with your boy, man. Everybody who has recently subscribed. People who have been liking the shorts, whether it's been the reaction videos, stand-up clips. People who have been liking from every different thing you have seen me on recently. When I tell you, words cannot fully express how grateful, appreciative, and thankful I am for each and every one of you. I mean it. For those who saw me with the Nico and Gideon video, for those who've been seeing me just pop up any and everywhere, man, it means the world to me. Thank you. All right, let's just get this out the way first and foremost. My overall thoughts on Evil Dead Rise. Trying to think the best way to describe this movie. I fucking loved it, yo. I literally became that black dude in the theater. Became that black dude in the theater who was like, oh shit, don't do that. And shouts out to my homeboys, Jason Cade and Martin Morrow. We both were there, and I was sitting between them, and I said, oh shit, at one point. And my boy Cade was like, don't be that person. Don't be that person. And then he ended up doing the same shit. And then Martin did the same shit. At one point, I had to check my phone because I had a couple emails. And granted, I kept the brightness on low. And I'm checking the email, but I'm watching like this. And Martin like, you watching the movie? I'm like, yeah, I had to multitask because I was getting notifications on my phone. But overall, this movie surpasses the remake that we recently got. I know a lot of people were concerned about it because of that remake we had gotten. A lot of people were like, yo, I'm not sure how I'm going to like this. With the Evil Dead one back in 2013, is this going to be worthwhile, blah, blah, blah. This shit blows it out the water. This one goes back to that level of horror, gore, and whatnot. If you grew up like I did, 80s, 90s, I'm aging myself a bit, but there was a level of horror where it wasn't just torture porn. And when I say that, I mean, even though I'm a fan of these films, Hostel, Saw, things like that, where those are considered torture porn. And then there was just a level of gore and horror where you like. Now, some people just like thriller, suspense, and some other things. And granted, it is it's seemingly a wide, all-encompassing genre when you talk horror. But the Red Band trailer sold me, right? And I know a lot of people, we go off trailers and we don't go off trailers. It depends on the type of person you are. But when I saw what Alyssa Sutherland and what Lily Sullivan did, they were amazing. Because the way it starts, so again, spoilers. You get a cabin, you got a dude playing with a drone, and you got a drone going through, and you got this girl sitting on a pier by like a lake reading a book. The drone comes, scares the shit out of her. Dude is like, oh, don't worry. If it hits you, it won't decapitate you. It'll just nick your face up. So when you start watching movies for so long and you pay attention just in general, and I have to try to watch movies now as just a person enjoying the movie. And I say that because when you do shit like this, when I was working on Collider, when I'm doing shit on New Rock Stars, or when you start being in the public eye talking about these things in a professional capacity, you start overanalyzing shit instead of just enjoying it. You know what I mean? So, but when just you hear about certain horror movie tropes, there's certain things you hear, see, or watch people say that you're like, this is going to play a part. So dude's like, yo, the drone won't decapitate you. It'll just nick your face up. So I'm like, some shit finna happen, and this drone finna decapitate a motherfucker. I'm like, it's just got to. Get to the point we see this girl, Jessica, lay down in the bed sick. Some shit's wrong with her. Don't know what's happening, but Shorty is basically a deadite at the time. And she jumps up and just scalps this one chick with her bare hands. Like, the fuck? Then she ends up decapitating dude with the fucking drone. After taking the drone to the face and having it cut her face up, then she floats. So then we go back a day, not a year, a day. And we find out that we see a chick, we see Beth, played by Lily Sullivan. She's a guitar technician. She's working for rock bands. Basically, she finds out she's pregnant, right? You kind of knew what it was. She finds out she's pregnant, life-changing. Then we go see Elle, who she's working. She got her 3 kids. She's making art and shit like that. And sends the kids out to go get some pizza. In the process of them going getting pizza, a fucking earthquake happens. When an earthquake happens, you think a demon is coming out the earthquake hole, but no, it's California, so it's an earthquake. So it's just like nothing came out of the hole. But one of her kids, Danny, we see before they go get pizza, he's trying to be a DJ, learning how to DJ and shit like this. So when him, his sister Bridget, and his other sister Cassie, they come back after the fucking earthquake. They in the parking garage, and he sees the hole. Now, I don't know. I understand it's a common trope in horror movies where, yo, let me go explore this shit. I just want, for once, I understand that, you know, if it was real life per se, that the movie would be 12 minutes long. But somebody see a random hole open, and somebody go look, and somebody's like, don't go look, and then that person still go look. Instead of the other person be like, yo, you need to come from there, the other person be like, that's on your ass, and leave. I don't give a fuck if it's a sibling. I don't give a fuck if it's my child. You know what? The Lord have a plan for your life, and that plan don't involve me watching you go your dumb ass in the hole. Because the shorty Danny goes in the hole and finds a crypt, an old bank vault. He opens it and sees a crypt with a whole bunch of religious symbols and Saint Benedict around it. And of course, there's something in a, you know, something being protected there. And he finds a book, and the book is one of the Necronomicons. Okay, so he finds this and finds a bunch of fucking records, all these pictures and shit from 1923. His sister's like, yo, you should probably leave this shit here. Danny like, no, he finds the records because he's trying to be a DJ. He learned how to spin, scratch, and mix. So he's like, yo, I got these records. These 1923 joints should be able to go dope in a mix. Since when? Since when? Takes the book upstairs. You know what I'm saying? After everything, the earthquake, they take the elevator up. Elle pissed because she like, yo, I can't find my kids. This earthquake that happened, blah, 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 blah. Which we all are thinking that the earth, when you're watching the movie, you think that the earthquake, like I said, has released a demon. It didn't. Even the crypt being open didn't release the demons. It is not until Danny's dumbass is showing his sister the book, the Necronomicon. The binding, of course, as we know, the pages and everything is of human skin. The book is etched in blood. Everything that's written and drawn is in blood. Okay? So the book is closed with like these bone teeth like this. Can't open it for shit. Danny's dumbass nicks himself. 4 drops of blood spills on the book. The book all of a sudden opens, absorbs the blood and open. Why in the fuck do you open this book then? Again, me, average black person, most black people, not finna go, what the fuck is this? That shit don't look right. We not finna sit here and try to open this motherfucker. Sorry for all the swearing. We finna let the shit just sit there. And then when I see drops of blood get absorbed onto the book shelving, and then the thing opens, why am I going through the pages? Then Danny wants to put the records on. And of course, it sounds like chanting. It sounds like incantations and things like that. And so you just hear, he starts playing with it. And it's all of a sudden you hear a priest. And then he hears priest making a warning. And a bunch of people, you hear a bunch of priests saying, it's called the Book of the Dead for a reason. Which you find out if you do some research. That voice from one of the preachers you hear, one of the priests you hear in the recording is actually, Bruce Campbell. Sorry, it's Bruce Campbell. So from its actual Ash. So he's uncredited, but that's his way to be in the thing. And it's set like he's stuck in time. But he puts on one record, puts the second one on. The second one is now an incantation that brings forth a deadite. Now, in the process of all this, Beth has come back to Lily. I forgot to mention that part. Beth and Lily are reconciling. Lily tells Beth, my husband had left me. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to call your dumb ass, but you've been too busy. Basically, Lily been telling everybody, my sister a groupie out here. She just fucking all these bands. She ain't got no real career. She don't believe in it. Long story short, Ellie gets fucking possessed by this deadite in the fucking elevator and comes back and just starts tweaking the fuck out. Next thing you know, I'm not going to give you every bit. When I tell you there's a sequence of her murdering people that is in such a violent manner, but it's one part that is so hilarious. There's a part where you watch the kids looking through, because they got Ellie after she became fully possessed and everything. They realized, this bitch is crazy. They got her outside the door. They're looking through the peephole, and you see people, like some neighbors go this way, and then Ellie, and then all of a sudden you see shit just go, and it's just hilarious the way it goes. But there's a murder sequence of different things that happen. There's one where it's so graphic, but then it's so on point that everything works. There's so much. Again, I like to say spoilers, but I try to stay from giving you every single detail. You wonder, when do you get the actual Evil Dead reference that most people know, and that being the chainsaw. And what sets it up is something that you didn't think about earlier, but when it plays off, it's like, all right, cool. You get to the point where Beth has to confront her sister when she doesn't want to kill her, even though she's a deadite. She's. Why do people always believe my mama's still in there, my daddy's still in there, my brother's there? Yo, that motherfucker gone. That motherfucker gone. I don't give a shit what the outer shell looks like anymore. You got to realize, look, Walking Dead did it. All these zombie movies do it. All these things. And I understand there's supposed to be this family attachment that you try to use to say, oh, this is why I can't take this person out. I can't kill them because they're still family. I still love them. Let me, again, yo, if you were still in there, we wouldn't be going through this. If your essence was in this moment, you would be able to pull back and say, yo, you got to do what you got to do. Because I believe in my heart of hearts, if my brother, my biological brother was in that, and he was a thing, and I'd be like, hey, bruh, if you in here, you need to talk to me. And my brother be like, help me. I don't know if my brother would say the words help me. He'd be like, nigga. And once I hear nigga, then I know... I'm so mad because I know there are a lot of non-black people who watch these reviews, and they're going to be like, I don't know if my brother would say that word. But then some of y'all have a brother who would say that word. But I think it's just how your family would communicate with you. And of course, yes, these demons, the deadites, and then when you see different things, they play on your emotion. But when you have the moment where Beth has to realize she has to kill Ellie in full, like Ellie, she has to kill Ellie's body because Ellie's soul is gone. The Ellie that was has been gone. There is nothing but this demon that is in possession of that corpse. Because especially when this corpse gets blown to shit and all these things happen and the corpse still moves. That's another thing. The corpse still moving. It's a corpse. It's not even a human anymore. The body's moving, doing all this shit without an arm, a leg, maybe even an ear. And you like, no, they still in there. Here's the thing. Let me ask y'all this question. If the person is still in there, right? Let's just say the person is still in there and you have been fighting this motherfucker and you've dismembered them at some point, you have disfigured them. And let's just say you get that demon out and your original family member returns. Do you think they gonna be cool with having to walk around this motherfucker with a nub like this because you didn't fuck them up? Like, they gonna have to look at it every day and just be like, you know what, I understand. You got to do what you had to do. But what if you didn't cut off their right hand and they right hand and they never learned how to write with the left? All these other questions should be asked. But there's so much involving the book. You find there's another record that Beth ends up listening to try to figure out how to stop everything, because you think if the first couple of records tell you how to, it's transcriptions and how to release these demons and what the text of the Necronomicon is saying, the Book of the Dead is saying, then what are the subsequent records? Are they telling you how to send them back and whatnot? And when she finds out, the record tells you, nah, bitch, you screwed. Y'all screwed. And so then you have to find other ways to do that. At the end of it, the movie ties at the end of the movie to go back to the beginning to show you how we got to where we were. Remember, with that transition I brought up of one day before. And so the door is open for sure for more sequels to this. And because of the way the spirits of the Deadites move and being in correlation with it, because it's like once it's out, unless there is someone who has magic power, who has power to encapsulate the spirit, not just destroy the body that it inhabits, this shit can keep moving. So this shit can keep moving and we can keep having more films. And I say that because what Lee Cronin wrote and directed was far exceeding expectations. And I understand a lot of people may not go see this out the gate solely based on what 2013's was. Yeah, a lot of people wanted a sequel to Ash versus Evil Dead on Stars. And some people, wanted to hold to the Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell thing. And it brings up the whole question about remakes and reboots and whatnot. And so I would say this, give it a shot. especially if you are a horror movie fan. If you like what is considered old school horror movie that has some good jump scares and shit like that, because it made 3 grown ass dudes go at some point, shit, and put their guards up. If you like that, I'm telling you, go see this movie. This is something again, escapism. Yes, I said earlier I had to check emails, but you know what? Look, I'm always fucking working, and sometimes I have shit that is like a return immediately, ASAP, and a 2-hour delay. Said, hey, I was in a movie. Sometimes ain't good enough. That's just full disclosure. But go see this. The performance is by Lily Sullivan, Alyssa Sutherland, Morgan Davies, who plays Danny, who caused all this shit, Gabrielle Echoes, who plays Bridget, Nell Fisher. All of them are amazing. I will say, I told my buddy Martin this joke, and he, you know, because he's just like the person. I was like, I know what the moral of this whole movie is. And he was like, what? White people should never try to be DJs. And I say that because if the little white boy wasn't trying to be a DJ, none of this shit would ever happen. That the book, the records would all have stayed down there. I understand we have some dope white DJs in this world. Some of them are the coldest, right? I get it. Some of them have superseded expectations. But if we learned anything from this movie, is that, look, sometimes you might just need to pick up a skateboard or some shit. Or maybe even pick up a paintbrush. Who knows? But overall, if you've seen this movie, I want to know what you thought about it in the comments down below. All right, and make sure you're keeping it civil. We're talking about a horror movie that doesn't have any real life implications and shit like that. All right, it is a fun movie, you know. And let me address this. Let me address this before I wrap this up. I am pretty much waiting, because I know they're gonna probably drop this weekend, if not Monday, if not later, for a bunch of the same dudes who hate seeing a woman protagonist, a female protagonist, gonna go, oh, they went woke, blah, 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 blah. No. You can shift shit. Everything does not have to be some dude being the hero. It does not. Everything does not have to be that. Well, what about shit evolves? Listen, some people will try to bring up, well, what would you think if they did this or did that? History has shown that there have always been powerful women just as much as there have been powerful men. The reason in which we have had it in so much of our media, as far as TV and film being projected, just only primarily dudes as to 98% of them, is because that's what a bunch of dudes thought people would just want to see. But over time, we have learned that people want to see a broad array of shit. Y'all do understand that there is nothing wrong with being open-minded to the idea of seeing how something else plays out without thinking there is an agenda. And I have to say that because I know there's going to be people that come with that bullshit. Well, how can a woman do this? Easy. There are Marines who are snipers who are women. They're just as proficient as the men. Yeah, I'm using the military. So why not in certain situations where life or death plays a part, could there not be a woman as much as a man? That's just me throwing that out there for anybody who brings that up in advance. Y'all know why. If you come to know who I am, who Jay Washington is, you understand that I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all across the fucking board. And I don't need to sugarcoat anything. I don't need to play white knight or social justice warrior. I'm just being real. I don't like to be an optimist or pessimist. I'd rather be a realist. So that's what I want you to be, real with yourself. Make sure if you're watching this, please leave me a like. Click on the subscribe button and the notification bell and share this review with people as well. Let me know what you think down below. Keep it civil. If you're gonna have if you have a disagreement, that's fine. But let's keep it civil. All right, that's all I ask. Because if you start getting obnoxious and just being really, really facetious, yeah, I'm gonna just delete it. There's no point of you wasting your time typing all that for nothing. But I digress. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. Probably just TikTok and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. Please do that. Check out the Mad Titan podcast where I get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes. It's Barbershop Talk for Nerds. Come on in the convo. Check out me and my boy BC. And check out the BBC Club podcast. That's the Black Boy Content Club podcast with myself, Moses Prim of Prim's Hood Cinema, and the Dark Architect, Chris Burns. Check us out everywhere you get your podcast from. And the visual you can check over on the Moses Prim YouTube channel. All right? Holla at y'all next time. Please subscribe. Holla at y'all later. Thank you so much.